Private Security Detail in Afghanistan. Afghanistan, a land where centuries of warfare had hardened both terrain and spirit, became ground zero for America's longest war. As NATO forces surged and the Taliban struck from the shadows, securing high-value personnel and key assets became a logistical nightmare. That's where Blackwater stepped in. Not just as guards, but as an elite private security force embedded within the war machine, tasked with defending lives and missions that were too vital to lose. Operating under extreme conditions, Blackwater contractors formed a crucial layer of defense for diplomats, engineers, intelligence operatives, and military advisors. Their missions ranged from convoy protection through volatile provinces to 24/7 security at forward operating bases and classified compounds. These were no routine assignments. Every journey was a gamble, every destination a potential ambush, and every assignment a test of readiness. In the chaos of Afghanistan's conflict zones, where Afghan National Army outposts fell overnight and roadside bombs were a daily reality, Blackwater provided what few others could: consistency and speed. Their teams were composed of former U.S. Special Forces, British SAS, and other international operatives who brought unmatched experience to the battlefield. They moved like shadows, reacted like soldiers, and thought like intelligence officers. Their armored convoys became a familiar sight on the rugged roads leading out of Kabul, Kandahar, and Bagram. Each movement was a high-stakes operation. Routes were studied. Locals were paid for intelligence. Emergency protocols were drilled. A moment's hesitation could mean disaster, and the Taliban knew it. They targeted convoys with IEDs, rocket attacks, and ambushes in narrow valleys, yet Blackwater teams adapted, evolved, and survived. Beyond transportation and escort duties, many contractors were assigned to guard high-risk facilities. This included embassy perimeters, CIA field offices, and remote listening posts. In areas where U.S. forces had been stretched thin or withdrawn entirely, Blackwater stood guard, maintaining a perimeter between chaos and control. These assignments were more than just standing at gates. They required quick judgment, tactical readiness, and split-second decision-making under pressure. Their presence, however, sparked heated debate. Critics accused the U.S. government of outsourcing its wars, of relying too heavily on private contractors who weren't bound by the same military codes of justice. Blackwater's rules of engagement often differed, and their aggressive defense tactics sometimes escalated tense situations. Civilian casualties during convoy encounters further strained relations with Afghan communities and undermined broader U.S. counterinsurgency goals. Despite this, many within the military and diplomatic corps defended Blackwater's role. They were the ones who showed up when the regular forces couldn't. They extracted personnel during emergencies, repelled attacks when bases were under siege, and often acted as a mobile force multiplier in regions lacking adequate military presence. As the war dragged on and troop numbers fluctuated, Blackwater remained. Their teams adapted to the shifting tides of policy and strategy, continuing to protect lives while operating in the gray zones of modern conflict. By the time the U.S. began its withdrawal, Blackwater and other contractors had become an integral, if unofficial, part of the mission in Afghanistan. They weren't there for fame. Their names rarely appeared in press releases, but behind every safe arrival, every mission completed without bloodshed, and every high-value life protected in hostile territory, there were men in dark uniforms, armed to the teeth, watching from the shadows. That was Blackwater's role. Silent, relentless, necessary.